y'all, it's Dalanie.
And this is Katie. This is Classically Black Podcast,
where we talk all things classical music and being black in the profession.
with trap beats playing in the background. Hey.
Don't mix it in there. Where we talk about the microcosms of our faith.
Listen. I'm telling you. Y'all let me know if I should be a poet.
If y'all didn't listen to last week's episode, there's just a lot going on.
And it's what really like makes me, somebody DM'd us apparently. I forgot about that entire moment. Like,
so did I.
I would have gone on with my life. Like, I don't listen to the whole episode when I edit it, so like I click around for clips, but I feel like as they happen, I'm kind of like making a mental note. I didn't even think to do that. That was just like goofing off. Like, so I didn't even remember it. I just had to see me say it to be like, oh, I did say that. Like, I just be talking. I just be running my mouth.
So just be happening on this show. So, but yeah, if you haven't listened to last week, you know
that was a doozy.
A doozy. Started off crazy with us reminiscing on that last book club pick.
I forgot we read that, man, for filth. I feel like we were reading too nice.
Yeah, I try to be, because I also know that when we did the actual book club, I said plenty. And it's like I got it, but then I forgot how anti-black it was, because that's where I was like, well, it's a black author and try not to bash him in front of everybody, but you didn't have no problem. But you had no problem bashing black people in your book. So
I'm telling you, like, he hates black women,
and just the way, I don't know.
You don't write black women like that and be like, I love black women,
and then the writing wasn't even good. It's like it just on every level. Let's not get back into it. But
you never know, he might win a Pulitzer. Oh no, you have to rent it for
fiction.
Well, that he got down pat.
That's why I'm like, my hope for him ultimately is that you just learn to write better. And
I got a workshop for you too if you'd like one.
That's crazy. We just spent a long time talking about this crazy writing workshop before this, but I just feel like, but then I know that he didn't learn his lesson, because when he published his second book, how soon after he published that second book tells me that most of it was probably already written, or it was in the editing process when he published the first one, and somebody sent me an excerpt of it and he hadn't learned his lesson. It was like, I remember that excerpt. It was like, on the surface she would look like your typical ghetto hood rat, but what you don't know is,
what does that mean? And what does that look like?
Like, I'm just like, why did y'all publish this? Why would you kill a tree to write this?
We already got an environmental crisis.
Wow. Yeah. I just, like, just the way, like, I'm gonna get mad all over again. Yeah, there's so many really, really talented people who don't have a book deal. People like,
y'all gave him a deal. Y'all, he wasn't even self-published. Y'all like, you.
Yeah, let me get my book going, because I'm like, I read that book. I was like, oh, I could write a book
tomorrow. You can write a book to completion tomorrow.
You know what? I'm just gonna have AI generate captions for all of Classic Black's episodes. Not even gonna proofread it.
What?
And let's do that consecutively, no context at all. So, yeah, get ready for that. Let's get into the news this week, because I'm literally so irritated thinking about that. Like, just thinking about how it feels to read a really, really good book and how it felt to read that book. I'm gonna say something I don't want to say on the internet. So, anyway, speaking of bad things, a violinist by the name of John Shin earlier this month was detained by ICE, and the musical community in Utah, where he is at, has rallied around his family, so that's good. They have put together a GoFundMe campaign to help pay the legal retainer, or the retainer for his legal defense. So we'll post his GoFundMe in the caption. For context around his immigration status, he came to the United States originally on his father's student visa. He is married to a U.S. citizen, and extenuating circumstances means that his green card has not been approved in time. In terms of like when he was stopped because of an impaired driving conviction that he had in 2020. So when he was stopped, that's when he was detained by ICE. So
in 2020?
No, in 2020 is when the conviction happened for the impaired driver. So then when he was stopped, it was like, oh, you got this, and yeah. And he successfully completed his probation for that, and has documentation to prove that and everything. But because he had that impaired driving conviction, it says here from his lawyer said that people with that type of conviction have become a priority for immigration. So really, if you killed a fly in 2007, is really what it's giving. So yeah, we'll link the GoFundMe. So far it's raised over $65,000.
Oh shoot.
Which is great, but it's like, Lord ain't cheap, and you don't know how long it's finna go on and all that type of stuff. So we'll link that in the description for you all if you would like to support. We will also, hold on, let me pull up this other thing because it's an application and I want to get that right. The Chamber Music Society of Palm Beach is accepting applications for their second annual Rising Artist Program. It is designed for early career violinists, violists, and cellists, which,
what does that even mean?
Y'all said string program and y'all left us out. So, but
I'm at the early career part. Anybody be early career.
Early career professionals, violin, viola, and cello between the ages of 20 and 30. And it's for an intensive week-long residency in January 2026. Includes rehearsals and performances, education and community engagement concerts, and discussion/panels on career topics such as fundraising, launching a series, and promotion. Not like that writing thing. Have lunch together in silence.
I'm telling y'all, some of y'all don't want to see heaven. It's like you don't want to. I cannot believe that.
So this, at least you get stuff out of it. So
for context, I applied for more information on a writing retreat that I found out was $2,000. That is a silent writing retreat. I'm not gonna say with who because that would give it away, and I just don't want to burn a bridge. But just in case. But that's insane. What do you mean by that?
They're choosing a group of 4 musicians by video audition for the professional development program. I mean, I guess they're choosing a string quartet because it's a chamber music thing. So I guess that's why it's only violin, viola, and cello. But yeah, if you are a violin, violist, or cellist between the ages of 20 and 30, and you want to go play some chamber music and learn more about perhaps launching your own quartet, do community engagement stuff, education stuff, apply. I believe when is the deadline? I forgot. It hasn't passed yet. I'll link it in the description because I remember looking at this. They emailed it to us and I was like, I have to see if this has passed yet. I think September 15th. There we go.
Get on your Zoom.
Yeah.
It's a deadline.
Yeah. It's in 2 weeks by the time y'all hear this. So you got a little bit of time. There we go. Okay. And then last but not least, I have an update on something that we talked about maybe a couple months ago. It's hard because in Trump's America, every day is every day. But we talked about the San Francisco Conservatory of Music and the San Francisco Symphony's jointly run Emerging Black Composers program. It was paused because of all of the obviously the focus on like undoing all the DEI stuff. Well, just some background on the program. It first came about in 2020, of course, and it offers a $15,000 cash reward and the commission of a new work to a young Black composer. At the beginning of their career, San Francisco Symphony premieres the work, and they also receive a mentorship from a range of different industry figures. They took a pause earlier this year because of the U.S. Department of Education's Office for Civil Rights releasing a statement saying that programs to promote diversity are repugnant and shameful. So they decided
worse found, Mom.
Right. They decided to pause the programs, to protect themselves from backlash. There's been a lot of back and forth between different educational institutions and the Trump administration. But the chair of the program just announced that they are back on. They've been able to secure some funding to ensure that the program can continue. And yeah, their applications are open. So if you are a Black composer who writes notes, what's that? Well, we don't make the rules apply for anybody, but we just listen to last week's episode. You know what we're talking about. Some of y'all be doing all kind of stuff.
Do they want that style?
I don't think so. I don't know if there's any limitations on that, but you can find. I'll link the whole story with all the statements and stuff, and you guys can figure out how to find out how to apply, and what you need to do. But I'm glad to hear that this is back on, and they should be announcing a new winner later this year, I think. So.
Applications are open right now.
Mm-hmm. I mean, we could.
But I already got one.
The Microcosm.
I already got the Microcosm in my face, right?
And then I could do the face of our Microcosm. So
yeah, we'll be in there. So stiff competition. Good luck.
Well, that's the news this week.
Oh, that's it. Last week it was like 40 minutes, so I didn't know.
Was it?
What
did we talk about,
girl? I didn't even know the Microcosm of our faith happened.
We talked. We spent some time on that pop violin thing, and we also spent a large amount before the news on that book.
I see.
Yeah, but yeah, 3 things.
Okay, so for intermission this week, we have a segment called Scuttlebutt. Dalanie and I are on the same app on different sides, so I wanted to know, especially because our listener, well, actually, I don't know who listens to this show anymore, but classical musicians are normally practicing and stuff like that, so y'all know what's going on. I was always nosy, and I was on Instagram, so I always knew, but I know, like, if you were learned and dedicated, you were not doing that. So I wanted to know if you heard about some of the things that have been trending on my side of the algorithm. Number 1 have you heard about the cutting room floor?
Oh yes, I was in her live. I follow her.
You were in her live? Girl, put me on what she was saying, because this is what happened.
I'm surprised you heard about that.
Really?
Because it's fashion.
Is it?
Oh yeah, that's her thing. Her podcast is a fashion podcast.
I feel like I've seen her before, but her clip might have gone viral.
Mm-hmm. She had a clip with Steve Madden that went viral.
And Steve Madden went to jail and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So maybe that's the one I saw. I don't follow her, but whatever. So, and I think somebody I follow reposted it.
Dang, I didn't know it became that big.
See? So, for context, there's this podcast. Well, maybe Dalanie should tell it, actually, because you might know. I just know it like the discourse.
Yeah, I want to know what you know. Okay, I'm going to tell it. And I don't know what you know. That's crazy. Okay, so actually the clip with Steve Madden is what made me follow her. Because I don't listen to the podcast. I don't whatever. It just made me follow her because she's like a really good interviewer. And when she was interviewing him, because Steve Madden is known for ripping off other people's designs.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because for budget, because you'll find Steve Madden in like Ross or Marshalls, and you find every like trending. So she was going through different designs with him, be like, so what about this one? What about this one? And he'd be like, no, I didn't even see
Steve.
And she literally was like, come on. Like she was really like pushing back on him. So I just found her intriguing. I followed her. She wasn't even really coming up because I don't really understand my TikTok algorithm. I still don't feel like it's caught on to some things, but some things just feel a little random.
So you'll be scrolling through your TikTok and be like, how did this get here?
I mean, some stuff just don't feel like it's super tailored. Like it'd be like random funny stuff.
That's so fast. My TikTok is like, there's not one video that comes up where I'm like, what the heck?
I mean, it's not like out of the blue. It's like, okay, I mean, I watch funny videos, so I guess like, but then there are some more tailored things. Like there's some, I do get a lot of like anime edits and stuff like that. Okay, but the cutting room floor, so she posted a job application And she was looking for, I think, a studio assistant or something like that. And she listed off in the thing like all of the responsibilities of the person. She said they're going to be doing the scheduling, a little bit of her personal scheduling, and also the scheduling of the office. This is like, she has 4 other staff members. It's a full-time job. It's in New York City. And it's $55,000 a year. That's the salary. People was in the comments, oh my God, slave wages, all of this different stuff. And I remember seeing, I saw the video, which is crazy because I don't know if she doesn't post on TikTok or if it just doesn't come in my algorithm, but that was the first time I remember seeing a video from her in a long time. And so then I happened to be on TikTok when she got on live later that night to explain, because she was like, oh, I see that, like, this is getting a lot of traction. And when I looked at it, it seemed like it was a lot, but it wasn't like I'm gonna get on live a lot, to me at least, but I don't know. But yeah, she got on live, and of course there were people in the comments saying that, and basically she was saying like, this is who she imagines in the role, is somebody who's at the beginning of their career. She's like, I know it's not a ton of money, but like, she's like, I don't think you guys realize like how bad the job market is right now. Like, some people are simply not working at all, and they want to like have a job. She said, I know it's not a lot of money. This is not a job that you'll be able to live alone in New York City on. It's $55,000, all this stuff. She went into how she takes home less than everybody on her team, but she's able to do that because she has a partner and all that type of stuff. But yeah, so that was on the day that it happened. How you get into it?
So I found out about it on the day of, because I saw somebody repost it. I said, what's this? I didn't think anything of it because I'm used to what costumes to be going on with. There was an orchestra in Louisiana that was paying $25,000 a year with benefits, I guess. The fellowship I had with the Memphis Symphony was $12,000 a year. I don't know what it is now. So I'm used to like, so when I saw 55K, I know 55K is not like, let's retire in Palm Springs, but like, you could live with a roommate and whatever. I think the no benefits thing also didn't really like, it's not ideal. Like, my 20s were a little reckless. Like, I ain't have benefits. You just look both ways before you cross the street and pray.
That's what I was gonna say. Also, because on the live, I saw people in the comments saying benefits, are there benefits, whatever, and she was responding to people's comments, but she wasn't responding to that. Yeah. So that's what made me go into her bio and look and see the thing. I was like, oh, there's no benefits. Now, she did say, she kept reiterating, even though now some people was like, ages because you're saying early, or she said younger. She kept saying younger, although she did on some point say like, it doesn't have to be somebody that is young, but she said that's just who she's imagining in the role, somebody who's early career. Now that could also be somebody who's pivoting careers, whatever, but also people like that. She said she's like, maybe she's imagining somebody who's 22, 23, whatever, and most of those people are covered by their parents' insurance. So that's also a factor. Because of the day 26, I'll never forget my 26th birthday. I was in LA working for this thing. It was like the worst day of my life because it's like you wake up with no health insurance. It's just like, and it's like, what we do now? Like, you're gigging, you're whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, so I didn't think much. I'm not saying it's right because the people in the comments were like, well, just because you had to do it don't mean. And I know, shout out to Gen Z, who's very like, everyone should get $100,000 for whatever. Like, that's just kind of like how the rhetoric is right now. That's how the discourse is, I should say, right now, which is like, yeah, like people should get paid more. But I didn't think much of it. Unfortunately for her, I don't know how she's gonna bounce back from it because the internet is a place where like people just don't forget stuff. So no matter who you post, you get up there with La Roche and it's gonna be like, you pay him, like, you know what I mean? Like, so it's like, you get benefits for me,
right? You get benefits, or like, but I don't know, but it's been a lot. I'm kind of biased because I'm like, at 26, I probably would take a job like that. Like, there's no benefits, but it's like, 55K after taxes, and you get
that too.
I don't know, maybe $1,500 every check, and if your cut of the rent is $800, and you live in New York, you have no car, you have, I mean, it's not ideal. No one's saying it's ideal, but it's like, and people I feel like are being like purposely obtuse. Like, what she means by like, I imagine someone 22, 23 that's a person silly enough to take a job with no benefits, like, or the person who thinks they're invincible, not even silly enough, to be fair, because I was that person. It's kind of like, you're not thinking about having a heart attack at 26. You're not thinking about getting hit by a bus. You're not thinking about breaking your leg. Like, you're not thinking about breaking your ankle. It's like, you just got out of college and you're doing the best you can. It's like, I don't need health insurance. I'll be fine, type thing. Like, that's the person she could get away with high. Like, because even, the money is one thing, the no benefits kind of like.
Yeah, no benefits. Like, oh, girl. But I just feel like a lot of people would always be, it's just be a little idealistic for me, because like, it's like, so what we finna do? Yeah. Right? Because it's like, how is she, it's not ideal. It's really just not. But at the same time, it's like, how is she supposed to wait until she can afford to offer somebody $85,000 with benefits if she can't grow her business at all?
And people were saying like, well, if you can't afford it, then I'm like, that irritates me, because you sitting at home making $30K right now, writing this comment talking about if you can't afford to hire somebody. You wouldn't even dream of building something like that. And it's like, she ain't going around with a gun to somebody's head, but like, take the shot. Yeah, it's like the person who wants it, who's on their parents' health insurance, who maybe they're on their partner's health insurance. They like, they'll take the job, and it'll be a great entry point for them. Like,
and somebody was like, oh, you can only afford to hire trust fund kids, whatever. Then she'll hire a trust fund kid. Sorry, like, it's shitty, but it's like, there's a trust fund kid have an opportunity that you can't have right now. Yeah. So it's like, it's not fair and it's not right, and that's a whole different conversation. But the point is, the job is up. She said at the time she had over 800 applications. So she was like, people want the job. Like, people settle for things that are not their ideal all the time. So like, you can have the idealistic like conversation of like, yes, obviously everybody should get well, it's not obvious to some people, to be fair, but I believe everybody should have a living wage and everything. But it's like, it just comes to a point of like, what we finna do? Yeah, you know, like,
and when you ask people like that, they never know what we finna do.
That's the thing. It's like, with like Classically Black, I am 100% 10 toes down. I'm against unpaid internships. I just don't believe in it. I've never had one. And that's why it makes me, it really, like, if I'm going to ask somebody to do something for free, it's because I'm asking you for a favor. Mm-hmm. You know, like
a one-off.
Yeah. Or like,
or
richer.
But that's the thing. We on our 15th off.
Yeah. We're richer. And also some of the stuff he's volunteers to do, like he our logo or whatever, like, I mean, he did our first one, but then he like this all over my laptop. He's done all that, but it's like, if I'm gonna ask somebody to do something, it's like, and there's also different expectations. I'm not gonna be on your ass about it on no deadline or whatever, because it's as you can. But it's like, it's hard because it's like, you want to grow. There's certain things that I wanted to do for Classically Black, but it's like, we don't have the manpower to do this. But I am not comfortable asking somebody to do this for free. Mm-hmm. I'm just not, like, especially not about somebody I don't know, you know, because it just feel like, and yeah, you might get some experience in that. But I just, like I said, I think it's also because I've never had an unpaid internship. I've always had, like, you know, it's not like I came out of a hut and whatever. But it's like, I pay my own bills. My mom does not give me any money. My mom was not giving me any money in college. All that type of stuff. I've always had to work for it. So it's like, I know that y'all also in college having your own bills, all that type of stuff. But it also gets to a point where it's like, what we finna do? Mm-hmm. When we had to have merch, it was like, what we finna do? We could have whatever and not ask nobody to do it. But at the same time, it's like, if we wanted to have merch, we had to ask somebody to do it. Yeah. And we was also doing it and stuff like that. But you know what I mean? Like, when you need the help, you got to ask for it. And with the faith that one day your project will get to the point where you can offer people your dream package, and also where you could reach back, because I will never forget anybody that's helped. Richard, like, I would never forget that. Yeah. You know? And so when Classically Black is in a place, he not gonna want to accept no money, no this, no that. He gonna have to get something. Yeah. You know, like,
pry his hands open.
Yeah, like, it's in your account, and we took the pen away from you.
Yeah, like, I feel like that's why there was 800 applicants, and that's why the internet's not really a real place, because it's like, everybody got all these. I remember having this conversation, which is like, it's a dicey thing, but I'm whatever. My next thing is, we just go to the next thing, which is, do you know that literacy is down 40% in the past 20 years?
Okay.
And the girl that was reading the article, there's an article.
Oh, she was reading. Oh.
She was like, if you've read one book in the last year, you're doing great. Because it's like, I don't remember the exact numbers. I'll find the article if you're interested, like DM me or whatever. But she was saying like this, like the people who read for leisure has gone down significantly, like so incredibly much, that the average person just doesn't read like that. Like it's insane. And obviously there's a literacy crisis in general, and people were saying like some teachers were talking about it, and it's like, it's not like the kids can't read, because you'll see a kid read, like kids can read, like they'll be like, you know, Martha went to the park, or like here's a good example. Martha went to the park on a rainy day and had to use her umbrella, and they can read that sentence, but they don't comprehend the sentence. So it's like, and the teacher was breaking down all this, it was so fascinating. She was saying that like, so now they get to this standardized test and they don't know why Martha needed an umbrella. They can't infer why she might have needed an umbrella. They can't infer why she might not need an umbrella anymore. Like, what if it stopped raining? Like, they don't comprehend that Martha went to the park and needed an umbrella because it was raining. Like the comprehension skills. And we even see that, and it's like beyond. Yeah, and it's beyond, like, it's so fascinating because it's like, it kind of feeds into like that what about me stuff, because like when you say, I was reading some comments the other day, and it was like, you know, let's just give an example, like people in LA wear shorts. You're wearing shorts, I'm not wearing shorts. And it's like, well, you're saying everybody in LA wears shorts, but I don't have legs. And you're saying everybody in LA wears shorts, but like I live by the water and it's too cold to wear shorts. And my grandma actually banned shorts and it's trauma for me, so I wear pants. And it's like, yeah, so the implication, if you comprehended that sentence for real, I feel like sometimes it irritates me when I talk to certain people, and it's like, well, not all. Right, because the well, I was just in Florida and it was a bunch of people wearing shorts, and it's just like, and I remember like getting into it with my cousins about this. They never didn't listen to this, so it don't really matter. But we got into like a little scuffle in Colombia, because like once we start arguing, it's like now we going nitty gritty with words, and it's like y'all arguing with the wrong person. Because first of all, it was 2 against 1, but so whatever. But 2, it's like, you're trying to distract me by saying that, well, not all, you can't say all. I'm like, I hate that. And I'm never gonna come from my cousin's intelligence, especially like I would never do that. That's ridiculous. But it's just like, those are 2 very intelligent women. So, and they do that. So it's like the people who can't even comprehend the stuff, it's even worse, because it's like, I should not have to, and this is why I kind of want to get more into that thing we were talking about Toni Morrison maybe 2 weeks ago, about like the whole books have been written dumbed down. It's like, what are you reading? But also like I've seen 2 people say it, and I kind of want to get into that more now. Like, is that actually a thing? Because like authors do a lot of the heavy lifting for like mainstream authors, but like not the Pulitzer James. But like, I feel like if you're reading like fantasy or like whatever, like authors will do a lot of the heavy lifting, because it's like the comprehension skills are like so lackluster. Like, I should not have to say all, or not every, or of course not this, or whatever like that, for you to know that when I say that there's a difference between all elephants are big versus people in LA wear shorts. Those are completely different. Like, I feel like I shouldn't have to.
And then people will be like, well, Asian elephants are smaller.
I'm like, okay, go pick up an Asian elephant, you twat. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, I feel like it's just so frustrating. It's like, you just see the comprehension issues even when you're interacting with people on the internet.
Oh, especially when you're interacting with people on the internet, and it's like, and you have to say everything. If you don't say every single thing, every caveat, every little whatever. Prime example. Now, y'all didn't do too much on it. If you want to go back and you want to read some comments, post that they did do too much on was that one we did about the Berlin Philharmonic, the female concert master that left that one on, especially on Instagram. Lots of people all type of crazy stuff in those comments. It's not the worst at all that the internet has to offer, but like that's an example of it. People, the Haydn post from last week, people, well, his historical content, wasn't nobody talking about that. It's boring.
Haydn is boring.
He literally had to write a symphony to wake y'all up.
And someone was like, what about Surprise? And I'm like, that's your best? That's your... You know that sound from Dancing Dog? She's like, I don't want no garbage. I want the baddest heifers on the floor. And you put up the Surprise Symphony? Them folks was falling asleep. He wrote 93 symphonies up until here. And them folks was falling asleep. And it's like, it's whatever, 16, whatever. It's like, what else we got to do on a Friday night? I guess we got to go down to everybody else going. Martha and them going. You might as well go down. Because we don't go down. She going to say we ain't got no new petticoats to wear. Everybody down there, just people falling asleep. He had to, and it wasn't even nothing like, let me use some polyphony. It was like, I got to do a little forte on them. That's pathetic. He was boring. Somebody said it's like having a Vivaldi week, and I said, like, some of it's boring. It's okay.
The literacy thing really just deeply depresses me. I think the comprehension thing absolutely tracks. It's just in general it's very difficult. Like I feel like in general there's been a lack of like true understanding of things. Like I'm not a pedagogy expert and everything, so I don't really know the ins and outs of like how what exact stage somebody should be at what age, but I just remember seeing a kid read, and when I was looking at the way they were looking at the words, sometimes kids they take shortcuts, so it's not necessarily indicative of anything, but like I just like, you're not reading, you're just taking guesses. You're seeing a collection of letters and you're taking guesses.
Yeah.
Sound the word out. They don't know. They're not sounding out the words. They're not learning prefix, suffix. I guess they're not retaining it. But prefix, suffix. They're not learning how to build words, root words, all that type of stuff. So you cannot infer what a word means.
Yeah.
There are so many. Well, I won't say most, but like I've been reading more now, thank God. And you can see my search history is me Googling if there's a word that I don't know or whatever. But there are lots of words that I may not be able to tell you exactly the definition, but I'm like, I see root word this. I can infer some part of what this word means. And then like some people do not have that, or they can't infer from the surrounding words in the sentence what's going on. Like it's just like, it's getting scary.
And also, like you said that, I remember I was doing a book club with a friend during the pandemic, and we was doing it in French. And I have a habit, which you're really not supposed to do apparently when you're learning a language, like where I'm like, if I don't know a word, I'm looking it up and writing it down, looking it up, writing it down, looking it up. So there was a word, and I was like, what does that mean? She's like, I think it means this because it looks like this, and the words around it tell me this. And I was like, wait, I do that in English. Why am I not doing it here? But it's like, so I feel like, I wonder how like language learning is going to happen in schools, because it's like, you're not even doing good in your first language.
Like, and this, cause like, and then it's also a touchy subject because all the classism that goes into like the access to education, all that type of stuff. And I've seen some people say like, I think it was particularly about the correct use of the words alumni, alumnus, alumna, all that type of stuff. And somebody like corrected somebody else, and they was like, doing all this about the white man's English, all this. I'm saying, and you have to cover up the fact that you like it just gets to be too much. Like I understand, like it's a lot of layers there because not everybody has access to the same education and all that type of stuff. But there are just some things, some mistakes that I've seen in English where it's like, it's really basic stuff. It's really basic stuff. Like, and then of course there's gonna be somebody coming up the rear with, well, they might have learned that in their basic stuff, but you don't know what the heck going on at home and all that stuff. Like it that's how it gets to be on the internet. It's like a whole rabbit hole of stuff. Yes, there are a million extenuating circumstances. The point is, though, there are just tons of things that I'm seeing that I'm just like, I don't know. there are some things that are so confusing. I want you to explain to me what you think you're saying.
Yeah.
That's really, really, I actually had I tweeted about that a long time ago in terms of music terminology. Because there are sometimes when you hear people who are not musicians use music terminology like octave, flat is another one that people often misuse. And I'm really curious, what do you think you're saying? Because I'm actually really curious about that. What do you think you're conveying by what you're saying? Because you don't know what that word means. You clearly don't know what it means. And so take that, and that's like pretty esoteric. Like, you have to be a musician to know what those, or at least know, musical, those are musical terms. That's not basic English.
Yeah.
Some people is basic English. Like, it's the wrong, you saying could of, a part and a part is one of my biggest pet peeves. Because they mean the opposite thing.
Especially like Halloween Town taught us that.
They mean the opposite thing.
And I feel that's why like there used to be learning everywhere. Because what was the little curse Marnie had to say to undo all the little stuff in Halloween Town? Trapper. And the opposite is apart. Come on, y'all. They was trying to tell us. I've been watching Little House on the Prairie, don't ask. And there's an episode where Mr. Edwards can't read or whatever. It's, mind you, it's like the 1800s. This is still in the app conversation. Can't read. He adopts this little boy because also like I forgot how traumatic Little House on the Prairie. Like every episode, I forgot it's actually a true drama. Like they going through the worst days of their lives. And so he adopts a little boy who's lost both parents like in the last year or whatever. And he's like, oh, Mr. Edwards, like he wrote him a little letter. He was like, I love you. Like, I want to be able to call you Pa because like da da da. And Mr. Edwards like looked at the note. He was like, okay, put it in his pocket. And the little boy's like, this man hates me. Mr. Edwards get attacked by a bear. And then he was telling the little boy, shoot the bear. And he froze up. And so Mr. Edwards is like on his last leg, like he just got mauled by a bear. And the little boy in there crying, like, he hates me. And Charles Ingalls was like, he can't read. And he was like, what? And it's like, a lot of y'all can't read. And it's 200 years later. And that's the source. See how much confusion that caused? That little boy thought that man hated him. And then it felt even worse that he got mauled by a bear. He couldn't shoot the little bear. It wasn't a little bear. Everybody confused. And the whole time, Charles was like, yeah, he can't read. He wants you to think less of him because he can't read. And what was the closing season of that episode? He was up in the little treehouse with his little reader trying to learn how to read. This grown man. Little House on the Prairie is so good. It's very traumatic. I'd be skipping through some stuff. Like a little wire. Because it's freaking 1800 or whatever. Charles Ingalls takes that man died from pancreatic cancer? Do you know who that is? Michael Landon? Does that mean something? Anyway, like Bonanza and stuff. You ever watch Bonanza? Oh. Anyway, he took his people out of town. Like he was like, the wife was like, oh, I'm gonna be baking for the church. Like go to the next town or whatever. Take the girls, everybody. So she alone in the house in 1800. A wire, a little cuts her leg. She think nothing of it. She got freaking tetanus. She had to cut her leg open. All that type of stuff. You can't call nobody. She in there sweating and all type of stuff. She almost lost her leg. Traumatic. Anyway, let's do one more. I was gonna say with that whole shout out to the Gen Z and the internet for their radical thinking and everything like that. But I feel like this whole well, what about this? And your mama works 7 jobs and da da da. At the root of all of this, I heard this girl say something that was so profound I had to write it down. She was like, school should not be the first pass through for certain things. And it's like you sending your kids to kindergarten, you never read to them. You send they go home with homework. Obviously my mama couldn't help me with calculus either, but my mom was active in my education, and I'm like, no, Tina, but it wasn't like she was opening my assignment notebook and be like, okay, so you do this. It wasn't nothing like that. My mom, but she was present in my education. She'll be reading off flashcards to me for the spelling words. She would be, she would sit in my viola lessons. She was a present. She was present. Katie, I don't think you understand. And my mama was a single mother who worked all day. But some people are half mothers. I just feel at a certain point, it just kind of takes away from the conversation when you give every possible reason as to why your kid is illiterate.
it's like, because it's like, yeah, people are dealing with unimaginable circumstances, but a lot of those things are like, I won't say a lot of them are outliers, but it's like there are you are applying the most extreme case to millions of kids that can't fucking read. So
like, it's just like, it's not helpful. It's like, it doesn't make any freaking sense. Like, and I'm like, and my mom, like, shout out to, but whatever. It wasn't like she was like, I've seen some extreme stuff. My mom was not a workbook over the summer mom. She was really like, you read all day? Oh my girl, what? You didn't even tell me but it's like, she took me to the library to get books. So she's like, there needs to be learning here. She would ask me, did you practice today? It will be like little stuff like that. She wasn't like, no, like, and she would take my word for it. I'm like, I wouldn't lie to her, but I would be like, no. She's like, well, you got a lesson with Miss Cosmo and you ain't. I'm like, girl, like, that's a Raven coming on, like, chill. Like, but she was active enough where it was like, okay, this is the expectation, where it's like, and my mom was never like you got to get straight A's type of, I wanted that stuff. But it was like, you need to learn how to read. You need to be doing your homework. You need to, and it's like, she wasn't perfect because she was signing off of them janky ass reading laws, because girl, wow. And also, is it really my fault, or is it Miss Green and Miss McCoy's fault? Because why do you think I was reading the Bible for 65 minutes? That's on you, girl. Like, I don't know. But it's like, I just feel like my mom was a single mother, and it's like, there's still like an expectation that it's like, now we're gonna get to the point where it's like, we can't even have the conversation about your parents you gotta be reading to your children, because the parents also now can't read.
And that's
so
another thing.
There's that. That's why when my baby cousin was born, at the christening, the book I got her, the gift I got her was a Bible with her name on it, engraved in it, and because it's a christening, and 2 books. And everybody laughed at me. She 4 months. I'm like, book today, now, because it's like, they laughing around because obviously her mother's intelligent and whatever, but it's like, no, this is a crisis. Like, if it's not active, like, and obviously, like, my baby cousin, she gonna eat the book. We working on it. So it's like, but when she gets to the age where she could sit down and actually, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, her mother reads to her, because it's like, it matters. It don't take much.
Yeah. I feel like, and also, dang, what was I about to say? Two things. The punctuation is another one. The punctuation and the capitalization. I don't know what y'all think a capital letter.
Why are we
indicates? I really want somebody to explain that to me. Like, I really want somebody to explain that to me. And also, maybe we need more than a summer book club. Maybe this should be a reading podcast. Like, maybe it shouldn't even be a podcast. This is a magazine now. Like, because it really just gets to a point. Like, and also, that's what I was gonna say. The thing is, baby's only 4 months. I don't think y'all understand. Not being able to read, it will make your life worse. Yeah. In every way, in ways that you cannot even imagine. And that's what's crazy about it. And especially for people who are at a low level of literacy, because they can read, but so they don't know how illiterate they are. Yeah. Especially people who are fake smart. People who you can't tell them nothing. People who they read, at a very low level. People who are functionally illiterate. They and people who are doing all those things in a like I said, the punctuation, the capitalization, the using the words wrong, all that type of stuff, bad grammar, all that type of stuff. Not saying that your grammar needs to be perfect, but like all that stuff. I wonder also. There's sometimes that I read things and I'm like, did you write this without hesitation and click send, or did you write this and be like, this doesn't sound right, but you're just saying what you're saying. That's what I want to know too, because it's like, okay, if you know something here doesn't sound right, you don't know exactly what, you're not 100% sure, but you're on the internet, doesn't matter, whatever. That's one thing. But it's when you're like confidently like, yeah, this is it. That's like, now that's worrying me, because I fear you don't know how far gone you are. Yeah. You know? And it's just really like, it will make everything harder for you. It will make your life harder for you in ways that you don't even understand. Like, there are so many things you can't read, properly comprehend documents that you're signing. Yeah. You can't read, you don't know what's going on when you're voting or not voting. You don't, like, it's just really, you can't discern what is propaganda and what is not.
Well, that's the biggest thing. And that's what they want.
That's the thing. It's just like, y'all really just don't understand like how really, really important it is. Like, and as somebody that like does read and has always been like kind of into that type of stuff. Even I'm like, my reading comprehension needs to be better. My oral comprehension needs to be better as well. Like, I'm always like, how can I, like, I'm always looking for a way, because I'm determined not to be one of those people. My brain oozing out my ears. I'm on my phone too much, all that type of stuff. It needs to, I can't let it get any worse than it already is.
Not for that.
Like, it's just really, so we might be doing a fall and a spring book club.
So I feel like we talking to people who don't really,
like, it just really just gets to a point, like,
we are,
like, and then some people, the way they be, like, I remember my nephew, his dad said something, and he was like, if you don't do this, you're gonna be reading all weekend. I said, can we not use that as a punishment? Because I, like, that reinforces it. And like, and I told then I remember, because I get my nephew's birthday is very close to Christmas, so I said, you get a book for your birthday, you get a toy for Christmas. And I remember getting a book, and everybody was like, oh, I'm like, stop doing that, because like, kids, I know not every kid is a reader, all that type of stuff, but it's like, they're also impressionable. Yeah. If everybody's like, oh, here Dalanie come with the book again, then it's gonna be a thing, you know.
And also, kids, like, it also has to, this is so complicated, because it has to be like modeled as well. Like, you could want your kids to read all day, but if you're not reading, so yeah, and it's like, you grow up, like, my grandma didn't, there were always books around. My mom I didn't really, books around, I didn't really remember like my mom reading, but my mom took me to the library, all that. And also, I was a natural reader. I was very, very into books when I was a kid. I was such a reader when I was a kid. I was reading 3 books at a time. I read, so that's the most I read in my life was when I was a kid. And then school, whatever. And I'm just now really getting back into reading. I still don't read a lot. And me and Isaac was actually looking it up, because both of his parents are very smart. His mom a teacher and his dad. So like, the amount of books in that house is insane. But we were looking up, because we were talking about this, and he was saying that he didn't think it was as bad. And I was like, I think it's really that bad. And it said that the average person reads 12 books a year. I said, no, that does not sound right at all. The average person reads less than 1 book a year.
I was like, what that sounds like to me, the only way that I could possibly imagine that being true is the fact that we have a lot of baby boomers in the generation, older people, where books were made, where the reading was at a higher rate, who are still reading. That's the only way, and maybe they're skewing it. That's the only way I can see that being true. But I'm like, 12? I know people who have not touched a book in years.
Yeah. My closest friends don't read. I feel like you're my only friend that reads. No, Aurora reads.
Book is so tea. I might reread Luster again this year, not really again last year. Because I'm looking for something to bridge the gap. I'm at the tail end of normal people. I have like 2 chapters left, so I'll finish it this week. And I'm about to order my books for my trip to Kenya. I'm bringing 3 books, and that's also just because it's like a 40-hour round trip, you know. Like, but I don't want to start those books before I leave. Yeah. So I need something for the month in between. So I don't know, but it's like, reading is tea.
You just gotta find your book.
That's the thing. My mom, she tried to strong arm me into whatever, and I'm like, what do you like? What do you think you would like to read? Because you're not gonna want to read something that is not interesting to you, you know. And that's another thing about it. It's like, and also you gotta, if you feel like you can't read, like, or for whatever, it don't have to be the best thing ever, but it's like, if you feel some type of difficulty reading, like, you should look into that.
Yeah, I do want to read more smart stuff though, because I feel like Toni Morrison kind of had me like, I think I got dumber, because it's just like, I don't like how much of that I had to like gloss over or like, but also I want to balance that, because those are the books that made me hate reading in school. I mean, there was also other factors, like you're taking multiple classes at the same time, and like you're reading Toni Morrison. I mean, you're reading Toni Morrison in a month, because I was taking AP or whatever. So it's like, we breezing through this, or not even a month. Your reading is like, we'd have read Toni Morrison like 2 weeks, you know? So it's like, you're reading like, you're reading it every day for homework and whatever. You're kind of like, That, but I do like me a little Shakespeare. I can't lie. So maybe that. But I like how not on the nose Toni Morrison was. Like how
I need a little closer, at least on the face.
Because Toni Morrison got you on the toe.
Right here, she got the next person over.
Like, is Viola even the main character?
Like,
probably.
It was. And like I go back because I too felt like, okay, maybe I'm a little like but at the same time I've never really enjoyed stuff that's that much like that, you know, like I just want stuff going on, like it just is irritating to me. Like
I can't believe like back in the day that's all y'all had to read, like they ain't had no little when did what's that black man that right? No, is it a woman? Zane?
Oh,
woman? No, it's a man, right?
Oh. No, you're thinking of Eric Jerome Dickey or whatever. He wrote books like that.
Oh, when those books are coming out, because everybody was just sitting around reading The Catcher in the Rye and freaking The Old Man of the Sea.
There was other stuff.
Like what?
No, it wasn't smut because all that stuff is smut.
Oh, not smut like though. That. Like I'm talking about like fun little like what did YA look like back then? Is YA a newer category?
Maybe because they weren't always teenagers. Like the concept of a teenager was not always a thing. Yeah, that was like a thing like mid 20th century, mid to maybe a little earlier, maybe around the 40s, 50s. Like with that really like teenage culture became a thing.
They were reading Jane Eyre and stuff. She was popular. Who was that? Jane Austen. And
there were like other stuff like, I mean, because I feel like they're like mystery novels.
Oh right, what's the Sherlock
like
Holmes?
And also fairy tales were a thing.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like you finna sit down and read some Kennedy Ryan, like.
I mean, because the Brothers Grimm fairy tales, those were
those long?
I don't know.
Or like you gonna sit down and read some, you know, like a little cute little fictional novel that's not like The Bluest Eye, no tea.
And to be fair, we would just have to look into it because what we know from that time are the things that are a bit like classics, like that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I don't know anything about Kennedy Ryan. I'm gonna use her as an example. If 100 years from now, people will know who Kennedy Ryan is. That's true. You know, like there's very well was a Kennedy Ryan writing in the 1940s, and it just didn't survive. Like for whatever reason, the Grapes of Wrath did. Like
the Grapes of Wrath is terrible.
The stuff that y'all chose to survive. Yeah, and I made that a goal for this year, which we'll see. I mean, I still have plenty of time left in the year, and I'm feeling more into reading, but I realized that of the books that I read last year, all but one of them was written like I read one book that was written in 1992, and every other book was after that, and several of them were written in the 2020s. So I was like, I want to read older books.
I wanted to try that because of what that girl said about how books have because the books I like a little bit of fantasy. I'm still on like the third chapter of some weird book. It's like a popular book. It's like the Thorns of Wrath, the someone's gonna know what I'm talking about. It's like it's a very popular fantasy series, like the A Court of Thorns and Roses.
Oh yeah, that sounds familiar.
Oh yeah, and I was I don't know. I don't like where it's going because she accidentally went into some castle that she can't leave, and I know there's smut in it because I found that out from TikTok. So I'm like, this.
You like, where's that?
This sounds kinda. She can't leave. And that's why I stopped because I'm like, it sounds kind of like. And I didn't know. I learned there was smut in it after I started reading it. But I was talking about it with a student, and then I was like, wait a minute, you freaky frog. That girl was like, I mean, that's the age, but I was like, you freaked out in that little
and that can't be YA.
But I think but I feel like also, I'm curious to see where, the tween phase has completely disappeared. I wonder if that's because of like, I don't know what that is. Is it the internet?
I feel like, because we all in Gen Pop together in a way that we really shouldn't be.
And I think that's what it is, because people are talking about, Because I remember like there's some book that has some crazy sex scene in it or something. I don't know, some fantasy book. And this girl, you know, them Barnes and Noble challenges where people be like, pick as many books as you want, and the mom or the sister was there when the girl was doing it, and it was like, she cannot get this book, and she was like, no, I want the book, and it's just like, but why do you even know about this book and what it got going on in it, you know? I don't know, because we really all mixed together. Like, you really can't. That's why I don't really be going back and forth in the comments, because it's like you're either dumb or you're 9.
Yeah, and you don't or you don't get enough attention, and this is all you got going on. In your life.
I see some comments. I'm like, oh, I can't get the youth attention your mama never gave you.
Like, and also in these parental controls don't be working. I just saw that video about Roblox. You saw that?
Yep.
I sent it to my sister, and I was like, I need to send this to her on the side, because we be sending so much stuff back and forth. Because my nephew be on Roblox, and I'm like,
that's that Roblox stuff. I've never been a fan of it, because it's a game on the internet.
I was like, if I had a kid, I wouldn't be able to do nothing. Like, you can't do anything. It's too much going on the internet.
I feel like parents maybe have always thought about this, but I feel like it's just different now.
Yeah.
Okay, we probably should move on, but I do want to do one more because I'm just very curious. Does the heart rate challenge mean anything to you?
No.
Oh, okay. The Love Island reunion happened on Monday. And there's been a lot going on. There's a lot of controversy happening. This is the messiest, most unenjoyable season.
Oh.
It's enjoyable in that, I don't know, the winner shouldn't have won. The cast hates each other. And I think what's more deplorable, everybody got out the villa and started like getting on all these podcasts and stuff like that, but no one will stand by what they said. No one's gonna whoop your ass. If you got on there and you said, oh, I think Nicolandria, does that mean anything to you?
Mm-hmm.
I think Nicolandria is a hoax. And you see them at the reunion and you're like, that's not what I said. What I meant, girl, we saw. That was the whole reunion. So it was 4 black people. It was Shelly, Ace, Alandria, and Chris. Chris was the one who got trigger warning. Huda was like coercing him into having sex with her, like in the villa. And if Huda was a man, fine. That's ridiculous. And then just let her stay. Huda should have been. So those are the 4 people who were like, yeah, so you said this and what? And every other person was like, well, no, that's not really what I meant, because like what I said. And it's like, they sitting around looking like, what the heck? Because there was video. You went on a podcast and you chased your little 15 minutes of fame. And was like, yeah, Ace is 5'2". That's so Ace was like, yeah. So you said I would, Amaya, you went to call your daddy and was saying all this stuff about my height. And Amaya was like, well, I didn't know she was gonna post that.
Why was she? Okay.
So the heart rate challenge was Shelly was coupled up with Ace. This was towards the end of the thing. Everyone thinks the challenges are just challenges. That's what because there's just nasty, gross challenges on Love Island. Everyone's making out with each other. When you realize it, it's like, oh,
yeah.
Everyone's making out with each other, and there's probably some type of liquid involved, like some type of cream, there was a 4th of July challenge from last year that I will never forget. Ketchup, mustard, flying everywhere. It's disgusting. Like, I don't know what y'all got going on. Huda gets on Ace because we're near the end of the show. Probably got a week left. So people are like in their couple, except for Huda. No one likes Huda because she's terrible. And so Huda does like, but you use a challenge to show interest in somebody. That's why you might go a little extra hard in the challenge just to be like, oh, I want to pull you for a chat. We're not pulling chats. We wrapping up now. She does this elaborate dance where everyone on the couch is like on Ace, all in his face, throwing ass, like all this type of stuff. Of course, they cut it because Shelly was like, yeah, you did too much. I don't want to talk to you, blase. And everyone's thinking like, oh, Shelly's overreacting because obviously the producers cut it out because she was like sitting on his face doing all this type of stuff. He said licking him from the out in the challenge. Then we get to the reunion. They still show a cut in the reunion. I'm like, this is still edited out. I'm just like, you know what? Y'all got it. And then Huda Huda's terrible. I don't understand how she has fans. She has the most followers out of everyone in the villa. Huda has had to apologize to every single person on that show because she's calling you a bitch. She trying to get your man from you. She talking behind your back. Huda. So, Shelly doesn't like. I'm not gonna get into too much, but Shelly was good off of Huda after that. She's like, I feel like you keep apologizing, and I'm kind of good. I feel like the producers made her play. Producers made her play nice because the next episode she's apologizing. I'm like, why are we making up? I thought we didn't like Huda, but I feel like producers are kind of like big brothers. They're kind of like, whatever. They make up whatever. They got the villa. The girl also Huda's jealous of Shelly because they had similar male interests. They bringing her flowers. They bringing her extra food. They ain't giving Huda barely anything. There was one time where they were like, why you give her 2 pancakes? You only gave me 1 with flowers and all type of stuff on it. And Shelly was like, I didn't even realize, girl. Like, I was just whatever. So these girls are facing extreme racism. I'm talking about they took Alandra's face and photoshopped it on George Floyd's body.
That sounds like some internet shit. That's nuts.
Huda said she was going to make a post being like, I don't stand for racism, blase, blase. Never did it. When Alandra confronted Huda at the reunion, was like, I asked you 3 times to make a post addressing your fans about the racism. And Huda was like, I just was too busy. I'm sorry. She's like, I was experiencing racism too because she's Palestinian. I was experiencing racism too. I was like, I am done with this. I was like, I got my summer. I have to move on from this show. It was the worst season. The drama was like everywhere. Can you on George Floyd's body? Alandra, mind you, when they got out of the villa, they were on live. Like Huda and Alandra were actually friends, but you can't be friends with someone like Huda because it's like, and I feel like people were saying like she didn't say anything to the racism because it was also hurting Shelly. So it was like she wanted Ace, she wanted Chris, she left with nothing. So, and because Shelly didn't want to play nice with her, she was like, people were saying like, yeah, she was like, let it fly. Who also glad it's over? I mean, I will be for season 8. People were saying I'm never watching again. But yeah. Anyway, that was the 40-minute segment called Scuttlebutt. Can you imagine if somebody photoshopped your face? I feel like there's some people who just like sometimes violence is the answer. I feel like Huda. And she was like, well, you know, like I've grown so much. And Andy Cohen was like, you've grown in 1 month. Andy was too nice. Too nice. And then all her fans were in her comments. I was curious. All her fans were like, they were so mean to you. You don't have to apologize for anything, queen.
Oh my God.
I don't know what to do with the rage I feel towards Huda. I need to go. I'm like, I saw this video of this girl. She was like me preparing for the Love Island reunion. And she was outside touching grass. I have to like, because I don't know Huda, I would never meet her prayerfully. And like, because it's like the amount of rage I feel towards her. It's like the type of thing, if I could just take her and just. Dang. She's terrible. When she was walking through the villa, like cursing out that boy and calling him out of his name. It's like if a black woman did that. Coercing that man into having sex with you.
That reminds me of the whole comments thing. Her fans reminds me of like there was like a tweet that was like, there's a therapist somewhere right now telling the worst person you know that they don't have to change for anybody, all that type of stuff. It's just like there's always gonna be somebody to validate your behavior.
It's crazy. And then obviously she's been seen with like 2 men since she left the villa. The most recent one apparently has some type of Netflix show coming out, or like he's a streamer or something like that. And Andy was like, yes, are you dating right now? Because Andy's messy. And she was like, well, I can't talk about my relationship because of Netflix. Netflix never said that. She just be lying. Netflix literally never said that. And then so she got on her story, apparently, because I don't follow her. I think I have her blocked because I don't want her to come up. And she was like, I just didn't want to talk about my relationship. So I'm like, why don't you just say that? She's odd. Oh, wow. What a time to be alive. I do need to touch grass. I feel like I need to like do something to recenter my. And then Ace did an interview today because Ace doesn't do interviews. He unfollowed Love Island on social media. Ace already has a following before he went in the villa. He unfollowed Love Island because he got a villain edit. But then I watched his interview with Speedy and I was like, because they asked him, like, do you think Nick and Landria is like, are they a genuine couple? And he talked around it. He's like, Nick is one of his best friends. And he said, Landria's my dog. Why would you do that? I'm telling you, this cast is something else, man. It's crazy. I don't think you understand. It's insane. He hasn't done any interviews because he don't want to do that because you're gonna put money in my pockets and blah blah all that stuff and da da da. Wow. So I'm gonna see what the fallout. I'm like, the next couple of days on my For You page gonna be. Cause what the fallout from that gonna be? Anyway, I forgot I need my life back. I gotta like practice or something. I need to get going. Whoa. No, I'm just kidding. I need to be grounded. I forgot my fine tuner don't work. I forget it on Monday. What am I gonna do about that? I could tune with the peg. It's just not ideal. And that's a real ghetto. Like, why you got a tooth missing? You know what I mean?
All right.
What? Something I said? Was it something I said? Sister?
Please. You're gonna break the leg of this chair. So anyway, the top really.
You're too come, sister. That's the thing. I know how much that thing costs, so yeah. That's why I was like, let me not pull too much. What?
This has just been I thought this episode was gonna be shorter.
I'm kind of tired, low key. But we could say a little something.
Okay, y'all. So today, if you're listening to this on the day that it comes out, today is Labor Day. Woo, Labor.
Oh wait.
Oh. Well, we get it off, so yay, no labor.
Is there any day off in Trump's America?
I mean, it's a day on. But we wanted to talk about some things that we learned. There's a book called Union Divided, and it's about the Black musicians who were a part of the American Federation of Musicians, their labor struggles and stuff like that. And while we were planning for this episode, I mean, we was already entrenched in that book. So it's not us reading the book and reflecting on it, but it's about us. We read about the subject matter of the book. There's some information online which I can link in the description about this history of Black musicians and musicians unions. So we want to talk about that history in honor of Labor Day. And I wish I knew the episode where we had Jen on to talk about.
Oh, she would be good for this stuff. Oh, I don't.
Yeah, because like we're talking about it from more of a historical context. But if you scroll back, or maybe I'm sure on Spotify you can like search or whatever, we had Jen Arnold on to talk about unions and stuff like that. But yeah. So if you don't know, the American Federation of Musicians, the setup used to be like, I guess, essentially segregated. But what was kind of different about the setup was that Black musicians actually requested to have their own chapters, their own locals.
243. 2 years ago? Time means nothing. I'm telling you. That was 2 years ago.
What?
Like to the T. We did that episode on August 21st, 2023.
Oh, episode 243 is the Jen episode?
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought we did it last year. I knew I did it in Memphis. I didn't know. Man, we doing stuff. In the microcosm of our faith. Okay.
All right.
Because what?
Yeah, so episode 243, if you want to listen to that.
Oh, you thought I meant the local 243.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Episode 243.
Oh, okay. Well, the difference between this and other instances of like, segregation, I guess, was that the black musicians requested their own, and we'll get into that because I have my own thoughts about like just the use of segregation to describe that. But from what I saw, some of the reasons why black musicians wanted their own separate chapters in the union was rates. They wanted to be able to undercut their white counterparts on rates, which is honestly something that would have happened anyway. Like, it's not, in many cases, and now, black people are making less money than white people to do the same job. So, I feel like it would have hurt them to stay in the standard union, because it's like you can't technically work for non-union wages. Yeah, but if they gonna have to pay somebody those wages, they gonna pay it to the white person. They're not gonna pay it to you.
Yeah, but also I'm curious because it's like it kind of we'll get to that, but it's like, where were they? Were they only playing? These are in black spaces that they're to undercut white people. How are you undercutting white people in segregated spaces? Unless we're talking about just like California.
Yeah, this is across the board, so including places that were not segregated. And also they said that what I saw said that like the separate unions worked well in bigger cities, but there were some places where black people were directly competing with white people for jobs, and they didn't work so well in those places.
I should have read what you read, 'cause I read something completely different. Mine was just like an overview. It was an abstract of something, and it was like, it was like the same we talked about before, but it wasn't like the lady who wrote the book.
One of the other reasons was it was undercut on rates. They also wanted to decide on their like audition repertoire, which I was like, yo, it sounded like they was auditioning to get in the union.
It must have been so different back then.
Or not audition to get in the union, but don't unions also have some sort of... That's a good question, because I've never been in the union.
I've been in there about it. It was a requirement.
I wonder... I don't know now, but if they had some sort of... That actually seems like that might be under the purview of a union, like audition guidelines and things like that. So, but I read that they wanted to be able to set their own like audition guidelines, and that made me that kind of made me think like, okay, I wonder what it was about the audition guidelines that existed that made them want to do that. And it brought me back to a place of like literacy tests and stuff like that. Not that it's the same thing, because like literacy tests were like, obviously they were not applied to everyone across the board. It's not like white people had to take them, only black people had to take them. The auditions are not the same, but also I wonder like the journey of a black musician around this time would have been different. So like, say audition repertoire is something that requires you, maybe sight reading was on it. Maybe some people were not reading music. Maybe like, it could be, I just find that interesting. Also, maybe you're a jazz musician and now they got you playing Mozart, or like, I also wonder,
like, would it have been different? Like how, like today it would be different, or is it like, you got to know what you got to know? If you got to know everything. And would they have picked Mozart?
I think it depends. Like, I guess it depends on what they mean by audition. What this audition is for. Like, is it that the union is regulating other people's audition, not necessarily their repertoire, but their guidelines, the guidelines of the repertoire and stuff like that? That's what I kind of want to, what I would want to know. But I just found it interesting that was a point of importance for them. That, and also representation, because as we'll get into, that was not plentiful in the union. But so that was happening. They had the segregated unions. Then when the Great Depression rolled around, and obviously anybody had no money and all that type of stuff, they were forced to dissolve from the national level, were forced to dissolve the black chapters into white like subdivisions. And of course, when they did that, all of the issues that normally came up Black people paying dues but not getting any representation, suffering, not getting jobs and stuff like that, became an issue. And there was also a point of contention in the union where like they didn't want to recognize Black people, like the Black unions, because they said it looked like segregation, but also it was different because it was the Black people that were actually requesting it. My thing was, I the more I read about it, the more I was like really curious about segregation being used, like being the word used to describe this, because what I hear from this is like Black people would not get like sufficient representation or resources in your union, in your fully integrated union, and so they have their own. That's the reason why we have HBCUs. That's the reason why we have a lot of different stuff. And the only people that I have ever heard call those things segregation, like, is, you know, it hasn't come from a place of support. So that's why I was like, that actually kind of made me want to read the book, because what I read, the lady who wrote the book wrote it. And so I was like, girl, what you mean by that? But that makes me want to read the entire book, because that may not even be the connotation. Like, you know, it could be a whole bunch of things could happen in between them pages, you know? So I would want to read more about it, but that just kind of rubbed me the wrong way a little bit, because it's not really segregation for real. Yeah. You know? It's Black people building their own stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like, because from what I read, there was like, Black people were really like, yeah, so for real, we really not finna do this. Like, we really not finna do this. And the minute that it became integrated, they were like, yes, that's what we're talking about.
Exactly. That's the thing, because it's like, yeah, they wanted it to be separate from jump. And so you could say, well, you guys don't even know, but it's like, no. And then y'all dissolved their stuff, and then you folded them in, and it was exactly what they said it was going to be.
Because I think from what I read, and it might have been a little biased, it was like, it seemed like they wanted it because it just, there probably were ulterior motives, but it was like, we all musicians, like, come on. But it was really like, now we're not getting the work that we were getting, and we were getting more work than you guys actually. Yeah, so yeah, it was like an act of good faith that turned out to be just like what we said it would be.
Yeah. And honestly, it was, I don't even know if that would have been like the answer. Like, if y'all really had to dissolve anything, y'all, of course, y'all went straight to those. Like, so we'll take that. Yeah. But yeah, we've been here forever. So.
Oh, that's it?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, yeah.
You got anything else?
I mean, shout out to y'all. You persisted.
I don't know. I really like, I mean, it was interesting to hear from a historical standpoint. I mean, it went, I mean, like I said, the whole reason why it kind of like dissolved was because they were kind of, on the national level, they were kind of debating, okay, well, people might see it as a negative thing if we keep them separate. People, but also we would be going against the wishes of what the Black musicians want if we didn't keep them separate. But yeah,
here we are. Listen to your thoughts, especially
if you read the book. I'll let you guys know if I decide to read it, but this might wear off, this curiosity. Because some stuff like that just don't be interesting to read. Like the lore be interesting, like the actual subject matter, but like the way it package just be, you know, sometimes. So we'll see. But yeah,
there was something about the integrated unions made it difficult for Black musicians to like get hired and stuff too, because like it was talking about this Black cellist from Richmond, Indiana. I should know his name, but I'll link the article that I read, and it was an article, it was abstract, but because they weren't being let into the union, so they weren't being able to keep their job at an orchestra, because in order to be in an orchestra you have to be in the union. So that's why people mess up stuff. But I also wonder, would they have even honored the Black union? Well, maybe, because if you're an orchestra that's hiring a Black musician, you probably would have honored it.
Yeah. Now, also from from what it seemed like was that the union, it was like a chapter, like you had a black chapter, but it was all AFM.
Cause what was that MMUP thing you were talking about?
Because I just feel like, because how else would they have had the authority to dissolve those black chapters? Especially because using that particular like terminology, it'd be different if it was like, we're no longer recognizing y'all, and therefore they were like forced to dissolve it. But it seemed like they had the power. It said from the national level.
Yeah, the Musicians Mutual Protective Union. That was the black one, right?
But I also think there's like, I guess on the national level, and then there's like multiple unions below. Yeah.
Anyway, this is great.
Right. So, thank one of our 4 musicians for the wages that you received today, if you're getting paid in your rates, which many people are not.
Yep.
Well, we know who's not. That was quick.
We moving on? All right, y'all. Time for Black Excellence, where we hype you up, gas you up, and give you your props, because there's room for everyone at the top. Who are you talking about, Dalanie?
This week, I am talking about Daniel Simmons. He is a violist.
Yeah, big alto clef. Yeah.
Okay. No. He has performed with several prestigious music festivals, including New York String Orchestra, Toronto Summer Music, Heifetz International Music Institute, your fave.
I haven't thought about that word in a minute.
Not that word.
That word.
Carnegie Hall's National Youth Orchestra, the USA, Curtis Institute Summerfest. I forgot about Summerfest.
They still do that. Wait, Curtis?
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Wait, was that the thing I did online? I got some free lessons during the pandemic.
No, I feel like that was that's like that. It's like a sleeper word. Like, because it's been so long since I've cared about stuff like this. So, like, as a participant, so it's just like, dang. Boston University, Tanglewood Institute, and the Sphinx Performance Academy. I don't know how to say where he attended school, because it's in French, but it's Conservatoire something. And he also won the 3rd prize in the Prix Revel. He was also a finalist in the 63rd Eastern Connecticut Symphony competition. And he also won the Colorado College Summer Music Festival Concerto audition, performing the Walton Viola concerto with...
Trigger warning next time.
Okay.
No, it eats. Wait, hold on. I should see if I can still play that.
He's also performed at many esteemed concert venues, including Carnegie Hall, Alice Tooley Hall, Seiji Ozawa Hall, Jazz at Lincoln Center, Kimmel Center, Metropolitan Museum of Art, National Jazz Museum in Harlem. And he is pursuing a Master's of Music at the Juilliard School. So shout out to him.
My piece of the week was going to be Russian Easter Overture, but actually Walton.
I forgot about Russian Easter Overture.
I have to listen to that.
Or you could play it.
I feel like I am going to play it. I got to find it. My Walton looks like it got chewed up.
It might be up there.
Maybe. No, you know what happened? I lost my Walton. I have no idea where the part is. I have the score. I have the score, and I'm not buying that. It's like $50. Dang. Or I lost the first page of the... So it's one of those things. It's either I lost the part, I lost the first page. Yeah. But I have the score. But I remember one day when I was, looking through my music, I was like, I was deciding between, am I going to switch? Am I going to switch to Hindemith or my concerto? Bartok. Wow. Anyway, I'm gonna switch to Bar Talk, or I'm gonna keep Walton, but Walton's too risky for an audition, low key. Shout out to the girls who do it. And because it's like that little first, I remember Beverly Kane Baker told me one time when I was like playing, like when I was like doing auditions a lot, and she was like, if you cannot nail them double stops at the end of the page, do not do it. Like if they not finna be in tune, do not. It's like too much room for error. And I was looking for that little part, and I was like, the photocopies are here, but where's my score? Yeah. Piece of the week is Walton. How big Walton? Sir Walton. Actually. So
he's British. Mm-hmm. You sound British.
He might be eating the same thing the Brits are eating today. All right. Because he was before the war and they after the war. I still gotta try that chip butty.
All right, so the outro.
No, this is the outro.
Okay, so I'm gonna go turn the camera off.
Like what you was going through? It's all sick now. Oh. What do I be saying? Thanks so much for listening to Classically Black Podcast. Don't forget to follow us on social media at Classically Black Podcast. Join us at the Ebony Tower. In the Ebony Tower? See, there they go. I literally see. That's patreon.com/Classically Black Podcast. Thanks for listening, and we will talk to you next week.
Bye, y'all.
Arrivederci. Like.